Hi, welcome to another edition of Life Restoration Radio. I'm here with Eric and Jason, and I'm Robin, and we are bringing you our weekly dose of all things life improvement. We've already decided on a topic today, which is a change, but we want to talk to you guys more about self-awareness, and a topic that a lot of people are starting to start conversations about without really diving in on how you can become self-aware. So our focus today is going to be more on the how. This is just going to be a short podcast, and so let's just get right in there.
Cool. So I think with the new pop culture and hot topic of like mindfulness and awareness, like you said, there's a lot of jibber jabber going on around the topic, but it's all real surface kind of high level conversation, and there might be somebody out there that's really digging into it, but Jason and I haven't come across anybody that's really gotten granular with how to become more self-aware, and what are some of the tools and techniques that are at hand, and if you're using those, what are you really looking for to get out of them, and I know we've all been big on the Muse and some of the stuff that we've gotten out of that, but I also know there's a lot of people that leverage things like the Muse and don't get any awareness out of that whatsoever, other than I'm aware that I got 72 bird chirps, and which is not the point, right? Or I got a new high score, like it's a video game. And so the technology has been increased, and there's a lot more out there for us to pull from. But with that, in my opinion, like there's just so much more chatter around the topic that it's actually created more confusion probably than anything else at this point in time for people.
Well, it's because we're using the same old story.
Yep.
Even though we're taking another thing and perverting it with the same old story. And so we're not getting into that first position, that place of vulnerability, which is the first position of co-creation or life restoration. And that for us to be able to get into that place, we must know who we are. Mm-hmm. We must know where we are, and we must know where we came from. And in that, when we take the time to examine those things, that naturally positions us in a place of awareness.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Self-awareness, which then allows us to then unfold into the future of infinite possibilities, or into a new story, into not making the same old mistakes over and over and over again in our life.
Yeah.
So before we can use a tool like Muse meditation or anything, we must be in that first position, that we don't take something that is meant to be good for us and we just create the same result with it because we're using it to an external source to solve an internal problem.
Right.
Yeah.
It just becomes part of our sickness, our dysfunction.
Yeah. Right.
And I think where people are at today is with all this information at their fingertips, they aren't sure what to do, what modality to use. This thing's going to get them this far. This is going to do that. So really, we're saying here and now that first step is becoming self-aware. Right. How do you become self-aware? It starts with just stopping everything and then breathing, listening to your breath, sitting with that, and then also that will get you into the next step to start uncovering who you really are, your desires, your likes, your dislikes, where you came from, and where you are in this current moment. Right?
Right. Well, so once we slow down and we stop the chatter, we stop the noise, now we're in a place to identify where we are. Mm-hmm. That's the most obvious thing. We can use our senses for that, and it can allow us to begin to see things for what they are. Like physically, where am I today in this current moment in time, at work, in my marriage, in my pursuit of, it could be something like weight loss or any type of goal that you may have, physical fitness. It's like you must stop the chatter and take an honest look at where you are before you can go much further outside of that. Because once you start to identify the undeniable indicators of where you are, and now we take a couple more breaths, we're able to accept it for what it is. It may not be where we want to be.
Right.
It may not be where we plan to be, but it is where we are.
Yep.
And a lot of people, they struggle with that because they don't want to accept the current moment. They're always seeking the future.
Yeah.
Or the fairy tale.
Right. Fairy tale mindset.
And I think one of the things that I know, going back to when I first started looking at this and experiencing this a little bit differently, was once I did that, then I really became more aware of how much time I was spending not being where I am. That was like one of the first awarenesses, that's even a word. Awareness that I had was like, hey, now that I know, just doing the simple exercise, where am I? Factually, like, I'm in the car. I'm driving to the office. It's 10:03 or whatever it is, right? Then I'd be like, where was I just 5 seconds ago? Because I wasn't here. Like, I was somewhere else. And then I started being able to identify, like, hey, I'm much more aware now of staying in the present moment versus, living like a zombie asleep most of the day in some false reality and being unaware of that fact, and then that's increased over time. I think, one of the things that I've seen with some of the marketing that's going on with this stuff is it's much like the supplement industry was back in the 80s and 90s. It's like, hey, we found the quick fix.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you want to lose weight or you want to get your mind right now, to get your mind right, or get your spirit right. Yeah. We found the quick fix. Just plug this thing in and stick it on your head for 10 minutes a day and you're fine. You'll be self-aware now. Just like the old pills were, like, take this 3 times a day and you're going to lose body fat.
Right.
Shove cayenne pills in your body 3 times a day and you'll speed up your metabolism. and so that's, but the only thing I want to chime in on that was just that there's no quick fix. There's work that goes into this. Like, and it's not like you do something a couple times and you're aware of everything you need to be aware of. It goes in phases of gradual awareness of at least my experience it has been of like I've become more and more and more aware. I don't think I could handle being fully aware of everything at once. It would break me.
Yeah, so the simple exercise is practice your self-awareness based on where you are using your senses.
Yep.
And so I made a little for the guys, keep it simple, stupid type of situation. It's very simple. Where am I? It's got our 5 senses here: smell, taste, sound, touch, and sight, and a couple easy things that you can fill in there. And when you do that, as you become aware, it's going to give you action.
Yeah.
You will naturally experience what it is that you need to be doing in the moment.
Yeah.
And if you just practice keeping it super simple like that today, over and over and over again, you will be able to unfold into a new level of awareness.
Yep.
Which includes going back to where you came from, which includes all sorts of different things that we can talk about later on. But as for today, where are you?
Yeah.
Are you where you say you are?
Where are you, and what do you see, smell, touch? It seems very elementary.
It is very elementary.
And it is, but it's like literally we're having to go back that far because of all the pre-programming that's taken place over however many years all of us have been how we are or were. And it's going back to these things. When you think about when you're a kid, those are the things that you were figuring out when you were an infant, right? It was like, where am I? What is this? And so that's the way to very transactionally become aware.
And see, here's the problem. Society as a whole does not want to do this because they think they know where they are.
Right. I already got that. Just give me the next thing.
Correct. So they don't want to, they think this is too below them, too remedial, but this is the thing in which will position them to then unfold into the new story. And so it takes a willingness.
Yeah.
To
do that.
To shut up and do.
Well, I think it's real similar to the who am I question that we pose to people, and it's like you get all these crazy answers, and the answer's like Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's that simplicity that allows you to identify all this other noise that's going on that that you're not aware of. When you get down to this moment and you say, where am I? And you put all this other stuff, anything else that's not here is just background noise or pre-programmed noise that's going on to distract you from being aware. And it's only when you clarify and get clarity on these things that you can zoom in on where you actually are so that you know what to do. Otherwise, you don't know what to do. There's no clarity. Right. You don't know what you're aiming at. If to equate this, like if you're shooting a gun, you have to have a target. You've got to aim at something. You know, you can't just spray and hopefully hit something. I mean, you might every once in a while, which is how most people live their lives. This allows you to zero everything and focus on a target, and then you understand exactly what you're aiming at to do in that moment.
And talk a little bit more about the action step. So, like, you write all this, you write down the sounds you hear, the taste, the smell, the touch, the sight, from where are you in that current moment, and then just let's finish it up with
awareness. Gives you, when we become aware, what we are supposed to do naturally appears. Mm-hmm. It's a universal principle.
Right.
It's when we get rid of the insanity and we become aware, then we will know what to do in that moment in time based on that. And so that's all the action is. It's the undeniable, what do I need to do now?
Yeah.
And that's what everyone wants to know.
Right.
Which is, what do I need to do to solve my problem?
Right.
Well, we got a whole bunch of people telling people what to do, and no one really knows what to do. Because no one's communicating authentically. And authentic communication begins and ends with you.
Yeah.
And so that's the purpose of the quietness, the listening to your breathing, and then unfolding back out into being able to see what is, and then hear what you're supposed to do next. Because everything that you need is here. So it's not out there.
I think this is a great introductory exercise application that people can, have been listening to us for a while. Maybe this is their first time, and really start to get in on the ground level of where am I, and understand it in very simple processes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. We're out.
Anything else? That was it. That's a wrap. Short and sweet. Let us know what you thought.